Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Hey everyone, welcome to our new Just Gaming show episode. Today we have our fifth match. We're back to the first group, and today I'm accompanied by Matthew and Roman. You guys want to introduce yourselves
Howdy.
again?
Sure.
I'm here and ready to duel it out again. This time I feel like there's something a little more in my favor. I've known Matthew for a while now. He'll introduce himself in a second. And we used to have long, lengthy conversations and debates while playing some
About
Fortnite and
Fortnite?
going absolutely bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is the OG
those were the
Fortnite
days.
squad from when Fortnite was
I actually
fun.
got my first win with it. It wasn't with Matthew, but it was with Roman. Me and Roman and I think Sam were playing like squads.
Sam clutched up.
Yeah, Sam
Went
clutched my
crazy.
first win ever. So today's topic is, I think you guessed it by the by the way we're talking. It's actually no, there's no way you could have guessed it. Multiplayer games. We're gonna talk a little bit about different topics, but let's just get into it because it's all about the game. So the first question is, I'm just gonna be sure because last time I asked a completely different question from the one I had noted, but I'm gonna just be sure. Yeah, what is the best multiplayer game?
All
So
right.
yeah, Roman.
So,
By the way, Roman's gonna go first. Sorry, I need to. Okay,
no.
Roman, go.
So best multiplayer. So when it comes to figuring out what the best multiplayer experience ever is, you kind of need to go back a little bit and look at what paved the way for where we are now. And I think that the only option is Modern Warfare. 2007's Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. It's one of the only multiplayer games I've played where everything just feels right. The maps feel right. They complement the weapons that you have, the upgrade system or the level system. Everyone has to run around with a similar class, which is unfortunately a problem Call of Duty has run into now, where it's gotten more stale, where people can just do so many variations of guns. And yeah, that sounds exciting, but people just find what the best gun is and the best attachments, and everyone's using it anyways. Whereas with Modern Warfare, most people might be running something like stopping power to overpower their weapon, but at the same time, you still have to have frag grenades. You can only run silencer or only run red dot. So whatever you want to do to cater to your play style or game mode, whatever it is, it's just a magical game that I find myself re-downloading at least once or twice a year and playing just hours and hours of, especially the remastered version for PS4 and PS5. So Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, nothing has quite tapped into that multiplayer experience like Modern Warfare has, and that's why it's my pick for the best multiplayer game ever.
Right, Matthew.
Cool. So my pick is Minecraft. So it's kind of a meme, but if you consider its staying power over the years, and also factor in itself, it's the best-selling game of all time, by the way. Minecraft is the quintessential sandbox game. You can do literally anything in Minecraft, and I mean literally anything. In the multiplayer servers, there's servers that allow for building of massive structures. I've seen, detailed co-op building of, some, for example, the wall from Game of Thrones, which, if you guys know, is huge and extremely detailed, and you can zoom in straight into a freaking mess hall, and they have that built. Minecraft allows for PvP, PvE. It can be extremely easy for people picking up multiplayer for the very first time, or it can be extremely difficult if you go into some of the hardcore modes and you have a multiplayer hardcore mode within Minecraft. That is very difficult. Um, the other part that I think really elevates Minecraft above any other multiplayer game is the modding community. Now, other games, they do have mods. You look at GTA 5, that sort of thing, with multiplayer and mods, but the way Minecraft can evolve and change its game with the mods, it allows you, again, literally to do anything. You want an FPS? There's a mod for that. You want a battle royale? Minecraft literally invented that in the modern video games. I was searching up earlier. You want a MOBA? They have that for Minecraft. So I think when you're talking about best multiplayer game, you're looking at longevity. You're looking at how many people are playing, and you're looking at how diverse it can be. And Minecraft is the game that you can do literally anything you want. So that's my choice.
Okay,
Okay.
Roman.
So Minecraft for myself, one of my favorite games of all time, but I have thought of Minecraft as less of a multiplayer game and more of a single player game. And I think that's kind of where the hits start coming in a little bit, because yes, you can create these expansive servers and do a bunch of, battle royales and stuff like that. But a lot of the times I find those petering out, or a lot of people are just toxic. And of course you can find the right people or whatever. When it comes to Minecraft, I think it thrives more based on a single player experience. Yes, obviously, if you have another set of hands, or technically mouse and keyboard, to help you out and build worlds and build buildings that are exact replicas, it's nice. But I feel like Minecraft thrives really when it's just that single outlet and that single person just establishing their world and going to fight the Ender Dragon or whatever it is, building their building in the side of a mountain, whatever it is. I just think that Minecraft is more of just a single player first game instead of a multiplayer first game.
So my argument against Modern Warfare 4 is not so much the gameplay, because I can't argue against that. Modern Warfare's gameplay is fun, the maps are iconic, but when you actually break it down, it's when you log into a multiplayer or into a Modern Warfare multiplayer game, it's the same general map structure each time, or match structure each time. You're going around, you're either you're either doing a death match, killing as many people as possible within an allotted time, or you're going for another objective. It's still an FPS shooter at the end of the day. Whereas if you look at Minecraft, this is something that is far more versatile and appeals to a wider audience, and just bigger overall, because you can do so many different things. Modern Warfare is a fantastic multiplayer FPS game, but it is only a multiplayer FPS game. Minecraft is so much more than that.
Now, hold up. The story mode in Modern Warfare is fantastic, so I don't know where you're going with that. Hold up. Don't insult my Modern Warfare single player campaign. Not one, nor two, okay? Okay? They're pretty good. They're pretty hard as well. So, okay?
So another point I kind of want to bring up now, now that I'm thinking about it a little bit more, is, when you're looking at Minecraft, and people want to build these super expansive worlds, and maybe like a battle royale or a Hunger Games, as some have titled it. A lot of people don't have computers to run those to the best of their capabilities. Minecraft is really going to excel when it has a higher end PC. Like, even the console versions, they don't really run Minecraft as well as great PCs do. And I think that is just a huge detriment to Minecraft's multiplayer experience, because obviously frame rates come into play and connection issues, and you're going to get hit when you think you didn't get hit, and things aren't going to render at the right amount of times. So really, it seems like it's not going to be as universal, because you have people with great PCs who can build the Eiffel Tower, who can build, Empire State Building, who can build Wrigley Field and do all these things and do it well and make it look nice, and it's going to run great when you log into the server. But that's not great for all people, because a lot of people don't have those higher NPCs. So when it comes to Modern Warfare, I mean, you log in, you have similar map structure, you know what group of friends you're going to play with, know what modes, what guns you're going to use. It just is so much more accessible and easier for people to log on and have generally a good idea of the experience they're going to have.
But the thing is, when you're talking about building big things, yes, you may need a higher spec PC, or something that I don't have, a PS5, to really render all these all these blocks. But I think when you boil Minecraft down to just being something where you build these big structures, you're pigeonholing it, because like I said before, if you don't want to do those big structures, something that would require that high-end spec, you don't have to. You can do something where there's tons of other mini games that are outside of something like a Hunger Games, or some sort of massive building project that doesn't require a high-end PC or high specs to generate all these different blocks. You can have very, very simple games within Minecraft that can run on a potato. Like Minecraft allows for scaling down of these graphics, and scaling down of render distance to allow for accessibility, so more people can play. You don't necessarily have to build these massive structures that do require, that I will admit do require, higher specs.
Okay. Woo. Every I love that when Roman is playing, he brings everything and he gets so intense when arguing. It's so cool.
It's the Italian,
It,
it's the
and
Italian in me.
Matthew's also like real. When he was playing against Vincent, he was like, it's a good game. I like it. Now it's like, okay, here we go. I have a full book on why Minecraft is the best game of all time. By the way, both of your choices are wrong. Should have been Fortnite. But anyway, let's get. No, I'm kidding.
Bro.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I would personally.
Roman,
I would actually.
we're teaming up to take
I would
down
actually pick something very similar to Roman. I would personally pick Modern Warfare 2, but that's because that's like literally my favorite multiplayer game of all time. But anyway, okay, that was a pretty good round. Okay, where to start? I thought in your both rebuttals you guys were equally strong, because I think Matthew hit Roman perfectly with wider audience, because like I love Call of Duty and sure kids play it, but like they shouldn't be playing it. Technically they shouldn't be playing it. So like sure you have kids still playing Call of Duty, but like Minecraft can range from 3-year-olds to 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, whatever. Everyone can play Minecraft and everyone can enjoy Minecraft. So that's a pretty good thing. But then Roman did hit you with a very good argument that is you can enjoy Minecraft, sure, but you're going to miss if you don't have quality equipment, you're probably going to miss out on some parts of the game. And sure, that's not the entire game, but you're still missing a part. Whether with Call of Duty, that's what you get, and you really can lose percentage of the game because of your specs. Like it's the game, that's the game. If you either can run the game or not run the game. If you can run the game, you can run everything. While Minecraft, if you have, honestly, I kind of think Minecraft can run perfectly fine in most PCs, but it's true that if you don't have a very good PC, you probably can't run like those big servers with a lot of people. So that's pretty true. I thought those were your strongest arguments against each other. I'm just reading here. Did I understand right? But Roman, did you go for him by saying like Minecraft is more of a single player game?
I
Right?
did say that.
Yeah. Okay. So I wrote here like single player game. I was like, who said this? Oh, it was Roman. Okay. Yeah, Roman did say it was single player game, and I kind of can see that, but I don't think it takes value from the actual Minecraft experience. Honestly, I might go Matthew, but here's why. Roman sold me a great multiplayer experience. Matthew sold me a timeless multiplayer experience, because you can't deny the fact that Minecraft is still literally, like, I think I checked today, it's still like one of the most watched games of like right now. I think like it's either Fortnite, Valorant, for some fucking reason Valorant is still played, and Minecraft is high, and Minecraft has all these, which is something you didn't mention, by the way. You should have mentioned like the Minecraft cons and everything, like, and how much.
I did mention it's the greatest selling game of all time.
Yeah,
And
you're
I
right. He
checked,
did.
that is.
Yeah, you mentioned that. And yeah, and the game had a very deep impact in our culture. Like, just because of that, I can see why someone would think Minecraft is like the best game of all time, best multiplayer game of all time, because it has such a strong impact in our like gaming society, if you want to call it whatever. While Call of Duty, it's a great experience, but people kind of like experienced that when it came out. Sure, we got back to the remaster, but then it was done. While Minecraft came out, when did Minecraft came out, by the way, Matthew?
Alpha came out in
2009.
09. Like the alpha came out in 2009.
09? Yeah, that's more or less when Modern Warfare 2 came out. So like, it's been a long time, and the game is still super popular. And I think for that only reason, because of the time, because of like such a classic that the game became, I guess you can call it a classic because it's really old now. Like, I think because of that only reason, I'm gonna go with Matthew on the first round. But yeah, okay, let's go into the second round, and I gotta be sure because I don't want to fucking miss. I don't want to miss the. Okay, here we go. pitch a multiplayer slash co-op game. This is not. When I sent you guys this question, I just want to clear this out. I meant like either a multiplayer game or a co-op game or both. You could choose. It's not like necessarily multiplayer co-op game. It could be a multiplayer game or a co-op game or both. So yeah, sorry, I don't think I cleared that up, but that's what I meant when I said like multiplayer slash co-op. But yeah, pitch. Since Roman did go first, Matthew,
Yeah.
you go first now.
So I've decided on a Pokemon co-op game. So I want you to picture your typical classic Pokemon game, except instead of having a rival, you have another person, another player as a rival. So similar to how large portions of the Pokemon community have undergone a concept called the Soul Lock, where you play a game simultaneously along with another partner. And you kind of do the Nuzlocke rule. So basically, if your Pokemon faints, they die for real. You can only catch one Pokemon, and so on. And then in a Soul Lock, you kind of do the same experience where you're playing the game alongside each other, and experiencing the game together. But this would be actually experiencing the game together. Whereas you in a classic Pokemon game, you have your AI rival who, depending on the game, can be difficult to, spanning very difficult to, I can do this with my eyes closed. This adds another degree of one, difficulty, and two, reinvention of the franchise, something that we saw even last week, that the Pokemon franchise is actually starting to look like they're shifting towards some reinvention and breathing some new life into it. So I think that if you could create a Pokemon game that, say, you start in Kanto and you have almost Ash Gary type of rivalry with the person you're playing in co-op with, you can you can do battles almost in a speed run type of style. You can see who can collect a certain type of Pokemon the fastest, who can fill up the Pokedex. You can make it anything you want, experiencing this world, this Pokemon world together, which is something that really hasn't been seen in this franchise before.
Okay.
Yeah, Pokemon is kind of in a weird spot right now. But before I get to that, when I was thinking about multiplayer co-op games, we have so many shooters. We have so many other just kind of lame soccer car games. Maybe we'll get to that later. But my multiplayer co-op game is kind of just a merger of both. You can play it offline or online. Don't have an actual title for it, so we're just going to go with the concepts here. But it's similar to Ghost of Tsushima multiplayer mode in Dynasty Warriors. Now, Dynasty Warriors, if you don't know, one of those franchises that is kind of popular, where you kind of just go around and just kill a bunch of armies, and you breach some fortresses, you get a rank, and then you kind of get your XP and you're done. But now in my game, it's going to be a little bit more tactile, as we saw in Ghost of Tsushima, one of the most popular games of last year. Plenty of enemies to fight that are AI, so you think of it sort of like Titanfall 2, where there are grunts and there are going to be online players as well. And then the bosses, the people that are leading the charge in those other armies, are going to be online players. Killing grants XP, so you can upgrade armor if you need to, go back to your base, upgrade your horses, maybe send out another fleet or whatever. All that type of simple gamey stuff. Breach fortresses, build defenses, and then obviously towards the end of the game, or multiplayer experience, it's going to be the bosses. So similar in a sense to what was that game recently where it was like you're a Viking or a knight or you're a samurai and you like fight each other, and it's really online now. Yeah, For Honor. So similar in that sense, where it eventually kind of turns into something like that, except it's going to be a lot more tactile and a lot more fun, like Ghost of Tsushima's multiplayer, which has been super underrated and doesn't get enough credit. They did a great job with that. So again, no title for this specifically like I had on the last fight, but I think this would be a lot of fun and bring something new to the multiplayer community with a lot more diverse things to do in multiplayer that I feel like have gotten lost in the first-person shooter genre.
So I just want to ask one something. So how would you win in your game? Like, you just defeat the base of the other player, or actually defeat the other player?
Yeah, so you defeat the base of the army, their army. So like, let's say that me versus you, or let's say there's me, you, and Matthew are on a team, and like a couple of our mutuals are on the other team, and we turn out victorious or something. Yeah, just anything to overtake the other army and seize the day.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, Matthew, you want to rebuttal?
So my rebuttal against that is, how is that any different from another MMORPG where you have your your kind of teams that you're fighting with, and you have your almost hack and slash with maybe not the same mechanics of Ghost of Tsushima, but when you're playing an MMO and you have 30,000 abilities, I think that the mechanics of clicking whatever amount of abilities on there is relatively comparable to something that requires a little more skill, such as Ghost of Tsushima. So when I'm hearing your pitch, I don't see how it's too different from an MMO such as World of Warcraft, where you're teaming up with one faction, and you're conducting a raid against one boss, and then whoever wins against that other army, they win for that round. They get the loot or whatever. So I'm not seeing how this is too different. Whereas my Pokemon one is more. This is new. This isn't something that. This is a new look into the Pokemon franchise that we haven't seen before, and exploring it from a different angle, and adding that multiplayer / co-op experience that honestly I don't think I've seen this type of concept from another game. So. Yeah, that's like I got.
Wait, you haven't seen?
So
Okay, sorry. I'll talk in
no,
the end.
go
Sorry.
ahead,
No, no, no,
Bishop.
no, 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 no. Go, because I'd rather save everything for the end.
Okay.
I was just shocked. Okay, yeah, go.
So the issue for me with Pokemon and any sort of Pokemon pitch is, one, Nintendo just isn't going to buy what I feel like anyone's selling. Yes, we recently saw a sneak peek as just what's going to be coming for the future, but this is how many years after we've spent so much time in Pokemon just generally wash, rinse, repeating. Obviously, this is just based on the pitch, but with your pitch, I think what it kind of comes down to is that it's just going to resort back to the same mechanics, and we both might be in a similar position where, yes, we have similar mechanics and we have similar concepts, and yes, we'll be fighting actual players instead of AI. Whereas, like in World of Warcraft, you mentioned you're basically only fighting AI, whereas in mine, you would be fighting online bosses, people who are actually connected to the internet, and similar in your situation. But I just think it's just for Pokemon, I don't know if it's kind of run its course, in my opinion. I don't really think there's as much new with it as you can do. And yeah, you can throw in many new people and do an open world and stuff like that, but generally you're going to resort to the same players, the same Pokemon, just dashing, striking, evading, running, whatever it is. And I just don't think Pokemon, the cycle is just going to always continue. So it's going to be the same game with maybe a little bit more gigabytes to download. And there's the gameplay for Pokemon is kind of just been what it's been for 20 years. It's just kind of it. And I think when you look at something like mine, like maybe all the materials aren't there because, again, I'm not a professional person at this, but at the same time, I feel like there's enough there where you can look at to say, that's interesting, that's new. You're combining something new that a lot of people loved and something older that a lot of people might not remember as well, but definitely had some enjoyment factor in the public consciousness.
Matthew, just I'll give you 2 more minutes and we have to end the round. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go.
So going back to the point about Pokemon and it's kind of just being the same thing for 20 years, I believe that I believe if you added that multiplayer element, you start to get I mean, the casual, yes, sure. You can have that experience where it's pretty much the exact same type of Pokemon game where, yes, you're fighting a real person, but if that person isn't as knowledgeable about, certain stats or the meta that it currently exists with certain team builds and whatnot, then yeah, it might be similar. But when you add that multiplayer element in there, it opens up the opportunity to make the battles so much more competitive. There is a huge multiplayer Pokemon community in the Pokemon Showdown. I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but it's kind of like a Pokemon a battle simulation that is third-party licensed. Well, it's not even licensed. I don't even know how it's legal. But
Yeah.
if you could bring elements of that in, where you have two experienced players who know the various IVs or the in and outs or every single base stat of the Pokemon, you get such a more competitive game within Pokemon, which is something you haven't seen. And I think would be rather unique for my game. Rebutting on your points, I would argue that World of Warcraft, yes, you are fighting AI sometimes, but there is the opportunity to fight PvP, and I still don't see how it's too much. It's too different from what you've pitched, because although something like a raids, you are fighting an AI boss, there are also other PvP raids where you're fighting other factions and fighting other actual people in these big multi-scale fighting bases and whatnot, and raiding bases. So, I don't see how it's too different there.
Okay. So, okay. First thing, I'm going back to what I said. Like, what? There's literally a Pokemon clone game on PC. I don't remember the name. It's like TomTom.
Temtem. I played it. Played it.
That's basically Pokemon.
I know.
Okay. Oh my god. Okay, so I'm just gonna get out of the way. If Roman had a rebuttal and he mentioned Pokemon Show, you kind of killed yourself with Pokemon Showdown. That game is fucking trash. There you get
what
matched.
What are you talking about?
You get matched with even. Here's my problem. Okay, I'm gonna go back. Okay,
Okay.
I'm gonna go a few steps back before I go into that. Okay, both pitches were pretty cool, but I'm sorry. I'm just gonna straight in. I think Roman won this round. Easily. I'm sorry, Matthew, but he won the one round easily. I'm going to tell you why. The only thing I was hoping you would mention, because you were going a lot like, it's basically, for some reason you're going a lot, you were saying a lot like, oh, it's like World of Warcraft. How exactly? I don't see how it's completely different, because the gameplay is, first of all, the gameplay of World of Warcraft is like, I don't know the term. It's top down. No, it's
third person.
It's not third person. No, like it's like a League of Legends camera type. I don't remember the name of the camera type, but whatever. Second of all, I was expecting you to mention to me the worst thing about the Roman speech is I felt like Roman was doing way too much with this game. You had to fight, you had to build bases, there was so much going on. I felt like you're putting too much into a game that should be simpler by his pitch. So I was hoping you would go for that point. You didn't. And Roman went for exactly what I was expecting him to go, which is your pitch is basically Pokemon Online. And we know fucking Nintendo is terrible with online games. They're terrible. I love them, but they're terrible. I can see myself already playing a Pokemon game. I'm in the first area with like a level 2 Charmander, and then I get faced with a guy with a level 100 Mew, and like another level 100 Mewtwo, and then a Jigglypuff, whatever. Like, he has so many Pokemons, and it's so many, because Nintendo doesn't know how to do matchmaking, and they don't know how to match you with actual like players from the same level as you. Because like I was playing Mario Kart the other day, so Mario Kart basically goes by points. So right now I am like around 3,000 points because I just started replaying Mario Kart. I got matched with a guy with 40k points. That's ridiculous to me. How am I getting matched with this random ass guy with 40,000 points? Nintendo does this all the time. Same thing with Smash. Smash basically matches guys that are not ranked with guys that are like super ranked in Smash, which is so annoying to me. And Nintendo doesn't know how to do online. So I think first they gotta fix their online shit, and then they can proceed on making actual online games. And I was hoping Roman would mention this, but he kind of still mentioned what I was expecting, which is you're just pitching a Pokemon, which sounds cool, but you're pitching a Pokemon game, but online. And I guess, yeah, it's cool. It's cool that you can experience this with your friends, but like, at least with Roman's pitch, it was something new. He was mashing two types of games. He was doing a little bit too much, in my opinion, but he was still mashing two types of games, while you were just pitching me a game I already like, but now multiplayer. And a multiplayer that would probably piss me, because I just know I would get faced with with a guy that had like 5 Deoxys or something. God, Nintendo, fix your shit.
Yo,
did you guys see that they run
all the forms?
Did you guys see that they run every single multiplayer like game on Windows 98 or something, like servers?
What?
Yeah, their servers are like they have code. They have code from Windows 98. It's ridiculous. I remember the Smash announcement. They said if you want to play with the best internet, you have to buy this adapter. What? Why can't I just play with my internet? No. You need this adapter to actually have good internet in Nintendo on the Nintendo Switch. Whatever. Oh my god, I hate Nintendo sometimes. But Bowser's Fury is a banger. Anyways, let's go into the next question. Oh, I love this one. Okay, so our third question is, what is the most toxic multiplayer fan base? Because we know that the best part about multiplayer games is the fan base and how toxic they are. So, uh, Matthew did go first. Now, Romano's version.
All right.
Yeah, go.
So, as many people who know me, I rave about this game all the time. I've shared clips of it, just my enjoyment or frustrations or missings of the goal. But Rocket League, to me, has the most toxic fan base I've ever at least been a part of, and doesn't get enough credit because, frankly, not enough people play it, even though more people play it now than they ever did 5 or 6 years ago when it first launched. So, your teammates will literally turn on you in seconds. You can have just a simple missed kickoff. You can miss the ball by an inch. You can accidentally hit the ball a little too hard and it hits the crossbar, bounces back out into the field of play. Whatever it is, you have seconds to make an impression on your teammate in Rocket League. A lot of them are forgiving, like myself or some other people who aren't completely insane. But when it comes to Rocket League, you not only have a pretty decent quick chat feature, but let's say, for example, I'm going to go save a ball and I whiff. I miss the ball. Boom, what a save. Hits the chat. Just this very annoying, very petty thing to say, and then they'll just spam it. And then your teammates are like, nice shot, whatever it is. Just anything that just to grind your gears. So within 10 seconds, you have to make an impression on your teammate. Otherwise, they are probably going to full tilt. And when they full tilt, boom, you lose. And especially if you play Rocket League on ranked like I do every day, your rank's going to go down. It's going to become frustrating. You're going to they leave because they're annoyed that you missed the ball, or maybe it's their fault they missed the ball and they didn't rotate right. And then boom, you're down to platinum 1 like a loser. So whatever it is, you got to be careful with Rocket League. They're super toxic. The quick chat feature is an abomination that is very helpful in some instances, but a lot of times people use it just to be extremely petty. They're just a toxic base, man. It drives me crazy.
All right.
Okay. So my choice is the obvious one. League of Legends is by far, and it's not even close, the most toxic fan base / player base in the history of multiplayer games. So League, when you play it, it can be a rewarding game when you pop off, but 95% of the time it is a miserable cesspool of toxicity, people with bad mental, children playing games, negative IQ. I can't, this is just like the very top. Like some of the people, I swear they're subhuman, but anyways, this is a game that heavily requires on teamwork. It's not like a something like a Fortnite where one teammate can reliably carry a game every single game. Yes, in League, a person can carry a game, but from game to game, it varies, and every single situation is different. You can't always carry a game. Part of, I believe, the toxicity, where part of the toxicity in League stems from is partly because the game is so complex. It takes so long to learn, and one mistake in the middle of a game, you're talking about, and I will get to this in the rebuttals, you're talking about how in 10 seconds you can lose a game. It's the same thing happens in League as well. One mistake can cost you the game. If you are an inexperienced player, this can lead to flaming, toxic chats, people coming in, and I don't want to get into the intricacies of League, but they can come steal your resources just because you piss them off, right? And this is largely out of a new player's control. When you're learning the game, there is so much to learn. And if you're not given that leeway, and you never are, you're expected to know everything right off the bat. You're instantly flamed, and instantly you're getting shit on. Another part of the toxicity stems from the rank system. So you mentioned Rocket League has a rank system. League does too. However, there is a concept within this rank system called promotion. So once you reach to a certain point, you have to go through your promos, which is a five game series. A 5-game series in which you need to win 3 out of 5 of those games. Now, people know when you're in promos. They can look up your profile and check. This actually happened to my brother. My brother was on game 5. He was 2-2 of a promo. His teammate looked, checked his profile, saw he was in promo, decided he wasn't worthy of promoting. So he went and took all his resources and lost his game on purpose. Just because he couldn't make it to that rank, he decided my brother wasn't ready for that rank. So if that doesn't
Oof.
if that doesn't just highlight just how toxic league is, I don't know. I don't know what is. When the game's best practice and first advice to most players is to mute chat, I think you have a problem.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
So I think that we are in pretty similar situations in terms of the fan bases. Now, League of Legends has obviously been around a little bit longer. It's way more popular around the globe than Rocket League is, but they both suffer from very similar issues. Now, you mentioned promos, and a lot of the League of Legends stuff is still relatively new to me. So, from what I understand and what you told me, I mean, obviously, it's a terrible thing to do that to a player, but the fact that concepts are in place for that to even happen, to make it even possible, that's on the game more than it is the fan base. Now, again, that shouldn't have happened, period, point blank. We're all in agreement there. But when it comes to toxic fan bases and people being able to manipulate the game in their favor to all of a sudden make it worse for someone else, that's something that could be looked at as, what Blizzard runs the league, right? Or whoever runs.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of on them for setting up the game
Did you
to
say
be
Blizzard runs League of Legends?
I don't know all I
Yeah,
know
no,
is that
it's Riot, bro. Rito Games.
either way,
Yeah.
either way, I don't care if it was Sucker Punch or Naughty Dog. I don't care who it was. The fact that there's a position for players to literally manipulate it in their favor and not prevent something like that from happening, and even allowing players to do that, that's on the build of the game as well. So when it comes to toxic fan bases, you look at something like Rocket League, yeah, you can demo or bump your teammate out of the way or start own goaling or start joining the other team. And it's like, that's kind of unpreventable as well. But at the same time, it's on a such smaller scale where, I don't know, I just feel like if you're going to have these promos in place, there should be something in place where that can't happen. And I don't have all the answers, but I don't know. I just feel like that's on the build of the game as well to even allow stuff like that to happen.
That's actually.
And that's.
Sorry.
But go ahead, man.
No, go.
I made my point.
No,
I made my point.
Okay.
I made my point.
So I mentioned in your argument for Rocket League, you mentioned how people tilt off 1 second, or if the first 10 seconds you need to make an impression. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You can in Rocket League you can have 1v1 and 2v2s, right? So
2v2, 3v3, 4v4, some silly game modes, and 1v1s are just too boring. So
okay,
yeah.
So it sounds to me that I think in a ranked game, the max you can have is about 8 players, right? In a big team.
Yeah. In the total, yeah.
Yeah. So imagine that, but with 10 players, and so. What you're talking about, something being toxic and small in scale, and Rocket League being small in scale. I think that actually works against your point, because the fact that the league teams are 10 players every single game, that just increases the chance of toxicity happening even more. So if you have your standard 2v2 Rocket League game, a league game is 2.5 times more likely of being toxic, because you have 2.5 times the more players than that are on the field. So that's more chances for people to see one mistake. You take a kill. Oh, all of a sudden you took my kill, I'm running it down. And let me explain running it down. Essentially, you literally take your character and run into the enemy base just because, I don't know, you feel like it, you're mad. So I can't argue as to the game design, and obviously neither of us have the answers, but I can argue to the point that league scale and the amount of players in every match just invites it to be more toxic just because there are more chances for it to be toxic because there's more players.
So gonna make one more point here, Pedro, but yeah, when I became aware of League, now obviously it's hard to learn online and just playing with people who aren't your friends that are at least going to be helpful. YouTube has become such a good tool where I don't know if there's as many or what, but I feel like I could go onto YouTube and at least try and learn the basics from someone who's trying to be helpful. Now, maybe they might manipulate you or whatever, but again, it looks like we're talking about 2 games here that have extreme learning curves, because being great at Rocket League is extremely hard. Being great at League is extremely hard, and you might have a disadvantage of having bigger teams. But at the same time, when you have these weird game designs in place, Rocket League is so simple. Get the ball in the goal, jump off the wall, roll, whatever. There's all these little minute things that you got to do to be better than the other team and to win eventually, blah, blah, blah. But when the game is specifically designed in a place where you have this entire infrastructure built around the idea that not only do you have to go through 5 extra games to even be better, and people can just blow it up just because they see that you're one away. I mean, that's the great thing about Rocket League's infrastructure is you don't know. You're generally just in Platinum 3, Division 3 with someone else, but all they see is Plat 3. All they see is Plat 2. So it can't be as, it just, I don't know. It's just kind of frustrating to me that even people are just going to be toxic in general. So
that's fair. I agree. But when we're talking about infrastructure, I think the one point that Rocket League has going against it for being less toxic compared to League is the addition of voice chat. Now, I've done some of the research. Now, I don't know if voice chat is available across all platforms, but voice chat is not available at all in League. And I think from my experience from multiplayer, having voice chat in League, when especially in multiplayer games, especially in a very team-oriented game, reduces toxicity, because when you're talking to someone in person, it's a lot different than typing to someone or pinging someone, off something. There's a ping system. I'm sure you understand the concept of pinging. Whereas, so League has nothing like that. You're never going face to face with the person. And you all know, you guys all spend time on the internet, how much worse it is to communicate with someone who's hiding behind a screen versus communicating with someone where you can hear their voice or even see their face. Now, you can't see their face in Rocket League, but you can hear their voice, you can talk to them. So I think just the very presence of voice chat within Rocket League makes it inherently less toxic than League.
Not a great voice chat feature, but yes, you're correct.
Damn, Matthew saved himself in the end because I was ready to give it to Roman, but then you saved yourself. Now I don't know.
I was waiting.
Yeah. Good. GG.
Actually, I forgot about
well
it.
Played. Now, I just want to say something. Don't you? My favorite part in League of Legends is when. So basically, just to give this context to Roman. So basically, in League of Legends, you have 5 different positions you can take. You can take a bot, you can take support, jungler, top, and mid. Yeah, it's also bot, but it's a different type. You go bot, but you're more you play more of a helper.
Lane.
Yeah, imagine Mercy from Overwatch. That's type of game you play. Anyways, so basically, thank God they added before you search a game, you can choose your role. But before those days, you had to get in game and randomly you would pair up with 4 people, and then the fastest person in the chat to say the role, he would get it. He or she, whatever. I loved when, for example, you get in a match, you say top, and the guy behind you says top and says, "Oh, I sent it first." And I was like, "No, I sent it first." And everyone's like, "Yeah, you sent it first." "Oh, I don't care. I'm going top as well." And it completely fucking ruins your game. And I hate... I'm going to sneeze. Okay. I thought I was going to sneeze.
Reminds me of Overwatch.
I fucking hate... League of Legends has the worst type of players imaginable. I can't even describe some scenarios I face. I stopped playing the game and then I got back with Matthew. We both play and Matt, me and Mateen, and Matthew played for a while. Then Matthew said, "Peace, I'm out," and never played with us again. But me and Matt still played a little bit more. And me and Mateen found the guy that was the reason why I stopped playing again. Me and Mateen were playing game, and Mateen was fairly new to the game, so he was still fucking learning. And the guy just didn't stop complaining. "Oh, he's so trash, he's so trash." Yeah, we know he's trash. He's literally he started playing 2 weeks ago. "Oh yeah, he's ruining my game. I'm never gonna play with this fucker." And he would just he would on purpose lose the fights and everything just so he could get the match. Oh yeah, by the way, I think you can do it in Rocket League, I'm not sure, but in League you can forfeit. You can say, "Oh, we give up." Yeah, and he would literally... So basically, you can try to forfeit once, and then if the team votes to not forfeit, you have to wait 5 minutes, and then you can do it again. He kept fucking spamming every 5 minutes. "Can we forfeit? Can we? Oh my god, League of Legends is the worst. But anyways, this is not about which one I think is worse, the one who made the best argument. Roman did a fucking good argument that I think most of the guilt here is actually on Riot, because they should have fixed that. He made a great point about... No, it's true. Why aren't we paired if you're on promotions, why aren't you fucking paired with people that are also on fucking promotions? So if you get paired with people that are also on promotions,
Veto.
there's they're not going to screw up the game intentionally because they know they if they screw up for
Because they're
you,
also working
Yeah.
towards the same
yeah,
thing.
you're
Yeah.
all working for the same goal. So why don't you get paired with people that are on the same level as you? It's so dumb, and that would avoid so much toxicity. But and by only that point, I was like, "Yep, Roman got the edge," and I was like, "Oh, better wrap it up. I'm gonna give it to Roman." And then Matthew brought up a great point, which was you guys don't have we only in League of Legends you only have keyboard, which allows way more negativity than like voice chat because when it comes to voice, people get scared. Like, sure, it's not the same thing as showing your face, but it's not the same as also running like a comment or we all know what fucking trolls do on the internet. So like, allowing the players only to write on a text field, it also allows them to go nuts because you're never gonna trace back to who the fuck said that. So that's a great point.
Yeah.
Ooh, I thought it was. I'm being fully honest here. I thought this was gonna go to Matthew easily, but I'm actually having a hard time. Not because Roman was gonna make shit point, it's because Matthew had like the perfect toxic fan base.
Answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to beat. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't know much about that game, but
I still
yeah.
have flashbacks of some. Oh my god, it's
I did.
that's why I stopped playing. Because everyone is so fucking toxic.
Dude, it's like
Yeah.
like yesterday. Admittedly, I didn't play that well, but I'm getting yelled, and I'm like, okay, seriously, give me a suggestion of what I can do. I'm actually openly looking. I'm trying to get better. The guy said, step one, just don't suck. Thanks.
Uninstall. Step one, uninstall the
Thanks for
game.
the help, bro. Like,
I'm gonna become the
Yeah.
Joker. Fucking
yeah,
dumbasses. I hate.
man.
I swear, League of Legends has the worst players.
I'm heated now. I'm fucking mad. Now.
That's
I'm just remembering
the,
it.
the fan base is the reason why I stopped playing League because League is so fucking toxic. Even my friends get toxic when playing League. I was playing with a couple of my friends and they were legit mad at me. I was like, bro, it's a game. Chill. Why are you mad with me? Because it's just a game. And I was like, I'm actually gonna stop playing with you because I don't want you to be angry at me for a fucking game. And I actually had to stop playing the game with them because every time I play with them, they would get angry because of some random thing, knowing fully well that I play the game like 1 hour a week and they play like 20 hours more, probably more
Yeah.
because they only play League of Legends. They only play League of Legends. So like, anyways, this is hard. Matthew did also make a good point. I forgot to mention. Matthew did also a good point on like. No, wait, actually, no, it wasn't. It wasn't Matthew. Roman. I'm sorry. Roman did a good point that like, you can't really fuck up. Even if you're angry with another person, you can't really fuck up a game for the other person. Like, sure, you can. You can, I guess, like push people and I don't know. Can you score? Yeah, you can score your own goals, right? You can.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the worst thing that can happen. I guess. But even then, like that's really
Yeah.
hard. Like going against your whole team.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not hard to run it down in League.
Why
You
didn't
literally
why didn't
move
any
your
one of
cursor
you
under
pick
someone
the
else's.
worst game, the real worst game, Fall Guys? God damn it, guys, Jesus!
Yo, pushing someone and holding someone back at the line is the most. When you reach the line and you're sitting there, just like your sole purpose is to stop people so they can't win.
That might be the most
toxic.
toxic thing of all time
Yeah,
across any game.
honestly.
It's too funny.
I'm gonna go with Roman, and here's why. Because this point was so fucking good. He's 100% right. This is sure it's a problem of the fan base as well, but like Riot should do something about this.
I had a point against that now. I know that point now. I have my point against that too.
And you know
Damn.
what's to me it's beyond me that the fact that when someone starts playing League, you have to tell them just mute your chat. That's ridiculous. Just mute because people are going to complain against
Yeah.
you. Because no, but what Roman said is 100% true. Like, sure, it's the fan base problem, but it's also Riot's problem because they should have better matchmaking to avoid these shitty assholes from ruining your placements or your matches, whatever. So because of that, like, I think you both gave strong arguments, but Roman's argument was like, oh, that was a really good punch. like oh, Roman. Roman won. Like Matthew gave me Age of Ultron, but Roman gave me Endgame, bro. Like, but still
Bro,
good.
you really just call me Age of Ultron. I'm out, man. I'm out.
Okay, you gave me Infinity War. Roman gave me Endgame. There you go.
Infinity War's better.
No, I like Endgame more, so he gave me Endgame. Okay, third round, and I'm
Fourth.
gonna ask this to rush this a little bit because it's
We're going
Went a little long.
It's funny. It's always with Roman. First match was on like an hour and 20, and now we're stretching to an hour. Okay.
He brings out the best competition.
Yeah,
yeah. In you.
Okay, so
I try.
Fourth question. I'm sorry. Fourth question is, so we pitch a new multiplayer co-op game now. I want you guys to take a property and turn it into multiplayer. So any property you want, you can even take that game like Fortnite Save the World and maybe make a multiplayer out of it. Whatever you guys want, go for it.
All right, so I think I'm
No,
first
it's
here.
Roman's first.
Correct. No, I went with Rocket
that's
League
fine.
first, so does
it's
Matthew.
you, yeah, it's you, Matthew. Sorry, my bad.
So my pick is Fortnite Save. No, I'm just kidding. It's Assassin's Creed. So I know Assassin's Creed technically has had multiplayer in the past, but that was the old iteration of Assassin's Creed. Ever since they've kind of had their renaissance since Origin, I'm separating the two. So Ubisoft has taken the franchise into a different direction. It's kind of an RPG style, and it's been really well received through Origins, Odyssey, and I don't know, what was it, Vikings? I don't remember which one.
Valhalla.
That was the
Valhalla.
latest one. Yeah. But it has been criticized by myself that included. I do agree with some of the criticisms in that it does feel a little repetitive. So I think that solution to this would be to create a multiplayer version of this, which allows for the creation and crossing over of multiple characters, multiple different factions, similar to how in Brotherhood and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, the old version where you were able to recruit other people to join your little assassin guild. I think that we could take elements of that and have people, create their own guilds, which actually would fit within the lore. Within the lore, there are, there's the Italiani, there's Ezio's, there's one in America, there's the, there's the Vikings. So this fits in the lore, having a multiplayer, different type of factions, almost not dissimilar to how MMOs work and MMORPG would work, where you can team up with these different assassins guilds to take on a one big target, or you are looking to get maybe an artifact, in the lore, a piece of Eden. Maybe there's a raid for a piece of Eden, something that has been established in universe. So I think Assassin's Creed is a great pick, not because it could both iron out the criticisms that the game currently has, while also keeping true to its renaissance and to the lore that already currently exists within Assassin's Creed.
So when I was thinking of games that I feel like would really benefit from multiplayer and do it in sort of a creative way that we don't see as often as we should, my first thought was Hitman. So kind of the way that I thought about this was, having just played through some of the first game and the second game myself, is you can kind of compare points and how you may have killed the targets with, let's say, like a screwdriver or a baseball bat or whatever, and you might get an additional store, or a fish. Yeah, a fish. You might get some additional points compared to someone else. You can kind of compare notes and see what they may have done better. But when I thought about multiplayer, it wouldn't be any sort of co-op. It would just be against each other. So in Hitman, you can disguise yourself as someone, and let's say that you do something like unlocking a door or knocking someone out, and all of a sudden someone takes note of that, and in your uniform, you have to change uniforms real quick or run away. The thought process behind a Hitman multiplayer would be something like that, with just this humongous sandbox, everything at your disposal, whether it's turning off the electricity or triggering something for them. So let's say, for example, I'm playing against Pedro and I'm dressed up as a construction worker, and I know that on his other end of the map, he might have to go through a construction field and make it harder for him. Why not disguise myself as a construction worker and make it harder for him to get across the map and eventually reach the target and reach the goal and kill that person, whether it's some CEO corporate person or whether it's some race car driver, I don't know. just something to kind of revitalize Hitman in a way where, yes, the single player is great, but now all of a sudden let's implement this multiplayer experience by utilizing our sandbox to do a 1v1 type of deal where you got to be really creative with how you're going to get to that final boss, or not, I keep saying boss, but get to that target and eventually manipulate the other person along the way to make them be caught or to get more points, whatever it may be. I think it'd be pretty fun.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, this game, you would have one target and then whoever,
not necessarily one, like
you,
Hitman, maybe multiple. Sometimes there's multiple, but let's just say for the sake of this scenario, it's just one target, one versus one to take out one target or two, whatever it is.
So I might have gotten the wrong idea, but I took from your idea that like one player job was to stop the other player while the other player job. So like your job is
sorry,
to stop
same
me.
goal in mind.
Okay.
Yeah, same goal in mind, but I can try and stop you by like disguising myself as someone and committing a crime to make it harder for you to disguise yourself as that person, because it's going to be the same, Hitman persona, the bald head barcode on the back of the head.
And do you know who the other player is? Like
It's
imagine,
online.
No.
Just
Like I mean, what I mean is like, for example, in Hitman, if you like here, like you do the here thing, you can see all the like NPCs, and then you see like if it's the target, it's usually in red. Like, do you see also the other players in a distinct color? Like, if it's the other player's green or something, or like he just camouflages in between the NPCs and you don't know who the
Nope,
other
just
player
start
is.
on the other side of the sandbox, opposite
Okay.
ends of the sandbox, different routes. Yeah,
Okay.
you'd have to. The devs would have to get pretty creative, but again, this is all fight.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
but
yeah. It's just speculation. Okay, Matthew.
Yeah. So my main gripe with this is the fact that when you go into these games, it's kind of almost the same thing. Like, yes, you allow for creativity when in this open sandbox world, but at the end of the day, it's always an assassination mission, hitting maybe your one or two targets. Whereas my game, it not only allows for the chance for different types of missions, so you can have your stealth, you can have your collecting an artifact, you can have your assassination missions as well, so you have the variety of different game modes, but you also have the opportunity to expand the lore, as something that I think is really underrated within Assassin's Creed. You have the opportunity to expand the lore in a way that actually fits the world really well. And I don't see the Hitman game may be fun in terms of being able to sabotage someone and having this open world kind of sandbox type of thing, but I don't see why you couldn't, one, have that in Assassin's Creed, and two, how it has something comparable in terms of expanding the lore and having a great story. So my pitch would have both great gameplay where you can do similar unique things as this theoretical Hitman game, but it also has the story alongside it, whereas something in Hitman, I generally am not even going to Hitman for the story. So that would be my argument, my rebuttal.
yeah, so for Assassin's Creed, I mean, the lore is there, and I think everyone can acknowledge the lore. And as someone that personally doesn't have as much affinity for that franchise as a lot of other people do, the community is already in a tough spot where a lot of people actually don't even like the RPG side of it. They say that a lot of the new games are missing some of the lore and some of the magic of like that Ezio Auditore storyline, all that other crazy plot stuff they got going on with Assassin's Creed. But turning it into a game with multiple factions and fighting and raiding, I mean, we have so many games as a service now where it sounds like a very Ubisoft thing to do to turn it into a games as a service. But at the same time, we have so many right now that it's going to be really hard to differentiate, like, what is Assassin's Creed going to do that's relatively new? Yes, they have different mechanics, and let's say like the Avengers, and let's say that like, Destiny or something like that, and you're going to have your guy that runs a spear or a guy that runs a bow and arrow or a guy that runs a sword, whatever it is. It can get creative like that. I understand it. But in the same principle and the same concepts, you're looking at a game that is generally going to be so much of what we already have. Whereas with Hitman, no one's going to Hitman for the story. It's all corporate espionage plot jargon. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. But it's the point of the games is to just utilize this huge sandbox or huge level at your disposal and just do some crazy killings with it and just get creative with it. And I think that if you put two people who have the same goal in mind on this in a map and say, here, find the best route to kill this person and try and stop the other person along the way so that it's harder for them to get there, or, you know, maybe turn them into the enemy, maybe run into them and do something. I don't know, whatever the game is going to do, just the concepts and the premise of the game. I just feel like at least with the Hitman game, which is going to be HIITMAN.
Yo, I give up. That's it.
HIITMAN.
You kidding me? That's a fantastic title.
Yeah, that would be my rebuttal. I just feel like you get too much similarities with Assassin's Creed here.
Okay, Matthew, you want to go one last time?
Yeah, the open world sandbox argument, it would be interesting if it hasn't already been done in something like GTA Online. GTA Online has a huge world where you can do anything, and that additionally has access to mods. So I think, you know, you're pitching this Hitman thing as something it would be very unique to the multiplayer community, but I think that's something that already somewhat exists here. So kind of flipping that argument that you used against my Assassin's Creed game against you, I don't see how this open world sandbox the kind of corporate espionage, that's something that exists currently within the current GTA Online storylines, and something that they are already doing with an established player base, and have been pretty successful, seeing as that game has spanned, I don't know, my entire life, it feels like.
Okay.
That's it.
Yep, that's it.
Okay.
Roman, that game does sound fun, by the way.
Yeah,
that
thanks.
I find it funny that when Matthew wants to rebuttal, he uses the mods he used in Minecraft, and now he's using in this one. Like, it's your panic button. Oh shit, mods. Okay. Skyrim has mods, bro. Why don't you play Skyrim Online? Okay. Wait, there is already Skyrim Online. Anyway. Okay. Now, I was hoping for at least Roman's side. Roman, did you mention? I might have missed it, but did you mention that Assassin's Creed did already have a multiplayer game that failed?
Did not mention it.
Yeah.
I was not aware of its existence.
Yeah, so Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and I want to say.
Well, Matthew mentioned that.
I mentioned it.
He said, yeah, he said they tried it before. So if that's what you're referring to, then
Okay,
yes, I was.
So I missed it. Sorry, because they tried it and they failed at it.
Well, I'm pitching a completely different style of multiplayer.
I know, but it's still a multi. I know, but it's still like a multiplayer. Like, what I want to say is, like, even if it's different, you still have to gather the appeal for an Assassin's Creed multiplayer game. You know, but like, even if it fails, sure, it might have failed, but like, it just shows that people are not interested in Assassin's Creed multiplayer game. Just thinking of a fucking... Anyway, I'm not a big fan of Assassin's Creed, so I'm not even going to discuss that much. That was actually... It's actually hard, like the other two fucking rounds. Thanks, bro. Okay,
Been a banger. It's...
By the way, I didn't understand your... Matthew, you said... you said that there's already kind of a similar game with GTA 5 Online?
Well, my argument is that there's a similar style where you have an open world sandbox where you can do pretty much anything you think of.
Do you really want to compare the fucking cover shoot mechanics of GTA with the actual stealth mechanics of Hitman? Because, like, both are way different.
Well, they're not the mechanics of, you know, the shooting and the stealth are different, but in terms of having an open world and a sandbox, that's
Hitman is not open world.
Well, okay, a sandbox and sandbox.
Yeah. Like, you drop in a map, and sure, you can access all of that map, but like, it's a very contained area. It's just one area, even though Hitman 3 goes a little bit bigger than the other one.
So excited.
In Hitman 3, you can even solve murders. It's so fun. Anyways, you can slap people with a fish. Okay. God damn it. Wait. Oh no, I folded. Okay. I don't want to take too much time.
There's still 2 minutes left on this meeting.
Okay.
We've gone through 2 40-minute ones.
I think you guys are so close. So I'm actually gonna go with like the one that sounds more appealing to me from the both ideas, and I'm gonna go with Roman because I thought his idea was better constructed and it just sounded more appealing to me because you both gave me good arguments against each other, and I honestly can't decide. So I went with my second like way of deciding, which is like which one appeals to me the most, and I thought like Roman had a
Why
better.
am I Mateen here?
No, Mateen
kidding, I'm
probably
kidding.
no. Mateen doesn't even want to play. Literally, Morals is literally Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but with the like Legend of Zelda style, and he doesn't want to play because it looks like Legend of Zelda, which he fucking apparently hates. But whatever. Okay, so even though, let's go into the fifth round. Let's end the fifth and final round, which is Roman. I want you to hear this clearly. This time it's most disappointing game. So don't say Days Gone. No, now you can say
Wait,
Days Gone.
It's overhyped, isn't it? Overhyped.
No, it's
not
overhyped.
disappointed?
You're right. Oh, I fucked it up.
Pedro needs to listen to himself.
I need to listen to
Yeah.
myself.
Bro, you scared me. I was like, no, all my points.
You know why I said most disappointing? Because we did most disappointing Nintendo game, most disappointing
Yeah.
PlayStation game, and Matt copied literally my answers from the from the PlayStation match and basically copied them to the sci-fi match. So that's why I had disappointing in my head. But yeah, it is the most overhyped. So which game do you feel one multiplayer games gets a lot of hype that kind of doesn't deserve it? And if one of you said Fortnite, I would just give the point to the other person. Anyways.
So definitely no Fortnite here. I'm a huge fan of Fortnite. I think it was the game of the decade. It's defined the future of games as far as we know and already has. So
Plus,
whether you like it or not,
plus you
blah,
can
blah, blah.
do the dab with the xenomorph. Where can you do a dab with the xenomorph? You can't. You can't. Or dance to the blinding lights, bro. Oh my god, so good, so good.
Or Chun-Li or Mega Thick.
You gotta stop, bro. I'm gonna take a point from you for the horniness.
I already lost, man.
Yeah, you get 0 points for horniness. Okay, sorry. Okay, so
So
Roman, you start.
most overhyped multiplayer game. This one was kind of hard to decide. There's a lot of people out there that have a very obvious answer that I would disagree with. But my first answer, and really the only one that kind of makes sense to me, is Battlefield. Now, as someone who's been more of a Call of Duty guy over a Battlefield guy in my lifetime of playing games, Battlefield I've always understood the appeal. But the way that people talk about Battlefield make it seem like it's something eons, light years away from first-person shooters, and obviously that's dwindled just a teeny tiny bit in the last few years because Battlefield and EA have had a whole slew of problems with Star Wars and blah blah blah. So when it comes to Battlefield, people are like, oh my god, you can blow up walls, oh my god, you can open up doors, oh my god, the maps are humongous and there's 1,867 people you gotta fight. To me, that is just, every year people talk about Battlefield being so different from Call of Duty, but when you look at it in the context of Battlefield, it's the same game every year. It's another Battlefield reskin with 60 different weapons that are all slight variations of each other with very limited, very limited things that you can put on your weapons. So to me, Battlefield is just always year in and year out, oh, this is the one that's going to prove to everyone that Battlefield's the game to beat, the first-person shooter to beat. Call of Duty's done nothing. At least Call of Duty did jetpacks. Not the greatest idea in the world, but it innovated their own franchise. Battlefield has yet to do that. I don't know if they ever will. They keep going back to this World War I crap where there was like 4 total guns on the planet. Whatever. I'm tired of hearing about Battlefield. It's overhyped. I'm over it.
Okay,
Matthew.
so My choice is, I think, the one that would be probably obvious, but I think there's a reason why it's obvious. No Man's Sky, and this question is about how
Roman's reaction.
is the most overhyped. It does not matter that the game is good now. It is the hype that surrounded this game. Okay, so let me just list off some of the accolades. This was the first indie development game to be featured at center stage at E3. It won. It was the
My man is
first.
pulling up the facts.
The first indie game
You sound
to
like
win
Dwight
the
with his little
E3
facts.
the E3 Game Critics Award for Best Original Game. I searched it up. All the other games that won that Critics Award, which is supposed to be, this is the best new original game. This is the new coolest thing coming out to the gaming industry. This is the first time an indie game has won. It was so huge. Every other game has gone on to be one of the most to be a lauded game, to be very critically well received, and then there's No Man's Sky. Now, first of all, I don't want to say that this is by any means the developer's fault. It's not their fault that the hype just kind of ran away, but the media was talking about it. Both media, both the news outlets, the video game outlets, and the news media were. Or not the news media, the social media was overhyping it. There was almost a cult-like presence leading up to this game. It got to the point where when there was a delay in the game, this rabid fan base was so depraved for their No Man hype. No Man hype. I call them
No man,
No Man's Sky content.
I hope
they sent death
change
threats.
the name to No Man Hive.
They sent death threats into the developer just because of one single delay. There were articles being written about this game before it had even come out, and this is a development studio that had created Plants vs Zombies before that. Let me just say that was their claim to fame. Right? It is a great game, but it's not on the scale of 18 quintillion planets that they promise that you can see, throughout playing this game. So articles are being written about how this game was going to be the greatest game ever, and just generally talking about this game ad nauseum, and then the game come out and it didn't promise on nearly half of those things. So I think that is the very definition of being overhyped, where you're promised these things and it falls short. It doesn't matter that the game is good now. I've heard that it is good now.
You sure you're not talking about Cyberpunk? I think you can use the same arguments if you want.
I actually could.
So
okay, yeah, Roman, go.
As one of the people that purchased No Man's Sky and day of release,
Happy consumer.
I've returned to the game since that point, and obviously in the first couple weeks you realize, or even the first couple hours, you're like, I've kind of run out of things to do. But obviously the game has sort of evolved into something that has obviously been great, and they stuck with it, and it's one of the greatest video game stories we have right now, and I get that. But I think when it comes to the difference between like Battlefield, like a huge mega franchise, to an independent No Man's Sky, is that with Battlefield, each year the promise is that there's some sort of revitalization to the franchise that hasn't really been there, but generally it's just the same reskin crap that we've seen in Call of Duty and various other mega franchises like Assassin's Creed. Sure, you could tell me Assassin's Creed is in a new setting, similar to Battlefield. Oh, we're in World War I compared to modern day, or Cops and Robbers, whatever it is. It's the same type of game. And to me, when it comes to overhyped, yes, we're looking at a game that is just like, okay, yeah, it's not, in comparison to No Man's Sky on that level. But the fact that it is repetitive is the problem. And so that's a huge EA problem at the start of the day. But the fact that people keep hyping it up as some sort of, oh, look, we've got 1 million people on the map that we can all fight, when really that's just kind of boring. It just, to me, at least No Man's Sky kept to its promises. Yes, it was longevity, and yes, it took a long, long time to get that to happen, but at least they stuck with it and they delivered on that hype that was originally there. Yes, it took a couple years, but hey, at least it's not happening year in and year out, and they're just kind of basically giving up and giving you a reskin version of the same game you got last year.
Yeah, so when it comes to Battlefield, I want to push back a little bit on in terms of the grand scale of the hype, because the question is the most overhyped video game. Yes, back in its heyday, Battlefield was being compared to, oh, this is the COD killer, you know,
Yeah.
like this is how they fight back, and you know this is gonna be the next big FPS. But when Battlefield first came out, it did deliver, did it not? It had the vehicle system, which was something that was very unique to the, well, not very unique, but it was different to the industry leader in terms of COD. So the tanks and vehicles were different, were a differentiator. And then when you talk about the same game, you know, coming out every year and that being a disappointment, doesn't COD do the same thing? Like COD, it follows the same cycle, and these two FPS franchises kind of almost parallel each other in the fact that every year they say they're going, they hype themselves up and they say they're going to deliver on a new innovation to the game, but both of them kind of do the same thing. So I because COD is kind of following a similar path to Battlefield, I don't see how Battlefield itself can be the most overhyped game, whereas No Man's Sky, going back to the point about you know the fact that it came from an indie developer rather than EA, I think that actually supports No Man's Sky being being the most overhyped game of all time, because the fact that it came from a small indie developer speaks to this, and how big this game got in terms of the discourse around it and how it kind of became immersed in the online culture. That just speaks to the size of the hype and the scale of how overhyped this game was. This is a small indie developer company who created iPhone apps. And now all of a sudden this is they're winning awards. This is the next biggest game. This is being marketed alongside AAA games. I think the fact that it came from this small developer just kind of speaks to how big this actually got, and just kind of how out of control it got.
Okay.
Yeah, just last thing, I'm basically going to repeat what I said. It's just, for me, comes down to the fact that every single year it's just, look at this innovation. We're going to change the game. It's basically just a reskin. The fan base hypes it up because you can blow up walls, whatever. But at least No Man's Sky delivered on its promises in the long run. I think that that is least admirable in comparison to a studio that says, hey, microtransactions, hey, blowing up walls, hey, 80 million guns, big maps, big player sizes. It just, to me, that's just, every year I'm tired of hearing about it. So that's it.
Honestly, it sounds like I'm going to use the League of Legends argument against you, and that just sounds like it's the developer's problem. And I'm going back to my first point. It doesn't matter that the game is good now, and you know, great job to Hello Games for, you know, fixing their game. But the question is, it isn't about what is good now. It's about what was the most overhyped. And No Man's Sky had the most ridiculous discourse that I have ever seen, maybe compared to Cyberpunk. But for a multiplayer game, it was insane.
Okay. This is actually pretty interesting because you both went for different approaches to the question. Because Roman went for the approach of like, what continues to be the most overhyped game, uh, overhyped multiplayer game, while Matthew went for the launch wise, like what was the most overhyped launch like multiplayer game. So different approaches here. Um, Honestly, I think you guys both once again made great points. I was thinking to myself when Roman was talking like, "Oh, Matthew can really hit him." When Roman was saying like it's the same thing over and over again, I was like, Matthew can easily hurt him right here. We're just saying like, isn't that COD? Which actually it is COD. COD is like they say the same shit over and over, and it's always the same game, the same shitty ass game. I'm just already going into more of my subjective opinion, but yeah, I was like hoping for that argument, and Matthew did deliver me that argument. Roman made the obvious argument, which is they fixed the game, and I was like, okay, that's an easy jab at Matthew, but Matthew did respond something very good to it, which was basically Matthew said, yeah, but the impact that the game had, like even when games get fixed, that first impact is always there. It never leaves. Like, sure, even if in 3 years they fix fucking Cyberpunk, you're still gonna remember the disastrous launch. Like right now, for example, Fallout right now is fixed, but when you hear Fallout 76, do you think of a fixed game or do you think of the disaster that it was when it was launched? Like that first impression is everything, and I feel like even if they fixed No Man's Sky, actually I was considering getting No Man's Sky today because me and Matt are looking for a game that we can play together, and we found out that No Man's Sky is cross-platform, and apparently it's a very good game right now. So that's pretty cool. But I still had that thought in my head, like, but the game was trash when it came out. So how good is it exactly right now? So yeah, something that Matthew should have mentioned that he didn't was no one really cares about Battlefield right now. Like there's a lot of rumors that Battlefield 6
Dude,
is coming,
I wrote that down too. Oh,
and no one like how long has it been without Battlefield game? When did Battlefield 1 come out? I don't even
I
remember.
forgot it existed.
But no one cared. No, I haven't heard anyone say, "Where's the new Battlefield game? Like, where's the new like if COD didn't release one game this year, people would get mad. Like, oh, where's the new COD? But Battlefield, it's been like what 2 years, 3 years since the last one, and no one
I think
cares.
it's been 3 years.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
cares. No one is saying like, "Oh my God, where's my new Battlefield game?" And now that there's a lot of rumors around Battlefield 6 coming out this year. It's basically confirmed at this point because they already teased a lot. Like Battlefield 6 is coming. I haven't even seen hype for that release. I guess it was because of Battlefield 1. You should have mentioned that. That Battlefield 1 kind of ruined Battlefield's image. Because, like, Battlefield
Bro,
1.
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot it existed. So
Battlefield 1
Okay,
ruined
yeah.
the Battlefield image. Like, honestly, at this point, when I think of Battlefield, I think of that moment at E3, which was, like, I think E3 2018, when Fortnite was really, like, a big thing and everyone was trying to do a battle royale. The guy at the center stage said, like, "Oh, we also have another announcement. You could say it's Royale," and no one laughed. It was just an empty. It was an empty.
Forgot about
silence.
that.
No, like the guy was like, "We have a new announcement, right?" And he was like, "Mm-hmm." You could say it's Royale, and I was like, "Bro, you did not do that right now." Oh my god. Even they try to save Battlefield 1, but ultimately no one cared. And I was hoping Matthew would bring that up, but Matthew apparently just brought the fucking
Forgot
facts.
it existed.
He brought the
Yeah.
facts
Yeah.
of fucking No Man's Sky. He brought a notepad. Here's why No Man's
Yo, I
Sky
did my research,
sucked
okay?
ass.
Hey, I did the research though.
I know you did,
Yeah.
and I'm leaning towards you actually in this round. So I'm gonna give the round to Matthew, which basically, and he brought Yoshi. I love Yoshi. He's so cute. So basically, Matthew gets the last point, but Roman
It's a
still
hard
won.
game to argue against. As soon as he said it, my reaction was almost like, "Yeah, that was a bad game," and also, why didn't I think of that?
Wait,
So
what was the
because
game you were talking about then? The one that you said was the obvious answer.
Well, I think a
thought
lot
it
of
was gonna be
people-
No Man's-
He said
I thought everyone
Overwatch.
was gonna say. I think a lot of people hate Overwatch and think it's
I
overhyped.
love
But
Overwatch.
yeah, that's
Bro,
what I thought.
Overwatch gave us Overwatch porn.
Hey
And
yo,
that is
hey
the
yo.
single
Okay,
greatest-
okay,
Single
okay.
greatest invention on the internet. Yo, I'm down bad.
Okay,
guys.
okay. Police. Anyways,
Oh, it's legal. What are you talking about? Ooh,
okay.
police.
Every justification now for Overwatch. Rule
Yo.
30, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I was participating, I would have said Valorant because I see fucking no appeal in that game. It's basically
Yeah, what's the deal with
it's a
Valorant?
Counter Strike
it's
replica,
CS:GO
but with like
with powers.
it's CS:GO
Yeah.
but with powers. I see no one.
And a shit development company. Because
Isn't it
anything
Riot?
that Riot touches,
It's
Aren't they
Riot.
racist?
Don't you love
Did they
League
get
of Legends?
outed for like having like racist or something?
yeah, they have like there's rampant sexism and racism in that company, and
I mean,
they're also owned by.
there's
Tencent,
also in
who's
fucking
China,
Ubisoft.
so, yeah.
It's yeah.
Oh well,
But
that was fun.
anyways, yeah,
It
that
was
ends
fun.
the match. Roman won. So right now, Roman is tied with you, Nolan, and Matthew are tied at number one because you all have no. Actually, no. Nolan has less points, but he doesn't. He hasn't played the second game, so he's gonna play with Vincent in 2 weeks. So when this episode airs, Then we're gonna see another episode from the other group, and then we go back to the first group. So that was pretty fun. Thank you guys for being here today. That was awesome. Before we go, do you guys want to plug anything?
Since the last time I participated, I launched a Patreon. If you want to go, just sub there for $1, just for simple monetary support, just to get any access to my essays or reviews early. I'm currently in the process of trying to shoot my first real actual full short film. Now that my family is free of COVID, I can finally go over there and do the things I need to do. And then hopefully I can get that released soon. And that's kind of what the Patreon is for, to help me produce and start making movies, because I think that'd be pretty cool. So if you want to check out patreon.com/RomanRBC, you can check that out there. And then, just my blog, showtimewithroman.com. So that's pretty much it. Thank you for having me on again. It was fun.
Matthew?
Yeah. I don't have anything to plug.
You want to plug your league username?
Check my Twitter. I tweet about stuff sometimes, and I get mad.
Overwatch porn, I guess.
Overwatch porn. No, that's on my alt. That's on my alt. You guys don't see that account,
All right. Thank you so much for watching. We have a lot of content there. That was hard. Coming your way. We also. Hype. I forgot. I'm gonna stream. I'm gonna plug. I'm so tired. I'm gonna plug before I forget. We also, since the last episode, we did start Twitch. We usually go live. Me and Matt usually go live. Javier might join. Roz might join. So if you want to check us out playing random ass games and even fucking Avengers, because I guess we still like playing Avengers, check us out. And yeah, that was a great episode. And I'll see you next time. Bye.